Good afternoon. This is B.E.M. Welcome back to B.E.M Tech. Right now, I don't have much time because I do have to pick up the kids. But I'll tell you what I want to do. When I originally picked up the Mac Mini, I was just going to play with it. I wasn't going to do much actual physical work with it. So I set it up to work on my main displays. My main displays are running off my Dell and they're dual monitors. So what I did was I took the HDMI out to the one monitor and I hooked it up, and my VGA is running my other one. And then I use Synergy, which I love, to connect the mouse and keyboard to that monitor. But in the process, I buried that Mac Mini on top of the running Dell all the way in the back. So what I would like to do is bring it forward a little bit more so I have access to it. I'm thinking of putting it somewhere on that rack. I just have to find a spot. So with that being said, shut down both computers just in case. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that Mac Mini out to at least get it ready for later when I have more of a time to set it up properly. Man, I've got all kinds of stuff hidden back here. Okay. So, a couple of thoughts. I'm going to need a longer HDMI cable. And I'm also going to need to extend the camera I have plugged into it. in my trusty drawer of junk somewhere. I have a USB extender. Is that it? No. I'm thinking that I'm in the wrong drawer. Oh, wait a minute. Huh. USB extension. Because you have the USB on one end, and then USB female on the other. So I will need to pick up a few things, but at least I'm getting started here. And looking at what I have available, I believe I'm going to leave that as my junk one. That has my Chromebook. Up here, you've got all the Ethernet stuff. That there has the Dell laptop in it. And this shelf has my DVD drive and some random stuff. I think that's where I want to put it. So I'm going to get that cleaned up. Okay. So, place the Mac Mini there. Right now it's not completely hooked up. I got the power and the Ethernet and the camera. Logitech mouse. Have to hook a keyboard to it because it doesn't like sharing. Maybe I can make that my main keyboard. Maybe. Thoughts. Anyway, hooked up and running. Or not running, but hooked up. Need to get a longer HDMI cable because it just won't reach away. I have it going through the wall. And I'll do that later tonight. Also wouldn't mind hooking up the second display as well. So that's what's going on right now at the moment. I'll see you in a little bit. Gotta go get the kids. So, went out last night, picked up a couple things. First thing I got, just a dry erase board, keep track of stuff. But HDMI cable, 12 foot. And I also bought a USB to VGA multi-monitor adapter. Alright, so the HDMI cable. I had probably about a 6 foot one. This will be an upgrade to the 12 foot. It's a black web cable. Now, I've gotten black web for their Ethernet before and I really liked them. Oh, it was nice. And I don't believe I'm going to be disappointed with the black web HDMI. It is a braided cable, which will keep it from kinking. Hopefully allow it to last longer. But the reason why I'm doing this is because of the new placement. The old one didn't reach. And this one, being twice as long, I have room to spare. So let me get that installed. Okay, so what I've done, wired that HDMI up inside my VGA that currently runs to the Windows computer. And it runs down into the hole in the wall. Man, that's hard to see. Comes out, runs up the back, and set it through here. And we're just going to plug that in right there. And I'm going to try it out real quick just to make sure that I got it running and in the right spot and everything's connected. Put this in the back forward position. And we're we're going to take it, change the input. To HDMI. And voila. Is up and running on the one. I'll have to go in. Now I can do that now. Keep my little mouse here, just in case I ever have to restart. And once I hit start on that, where's my mouse at? I might have to go over and open Synergy here. And once it's open, I shouldn't have a problem. There we go. Coming over here. Now it does want to yell about the keyboard. So that is something I'm going to have to deal with. Maybe I could just leave the keyboard on top or behind it or something. But I will get it hooked up. So the next step is my VGA cable. I picked up from Staples for a ridiculous amount of money. Once I get it open here. So my VGA cable going to run from this monitor over to the USB to VGA adapter and be the second monitor to the Mac Mini. Alright, so USB to VGA adapter J5 Create. I have no clue. So that's it. USB, VGA. And so in theory, let me flip it. All I should have to do is take my VGA, or take my USB, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm going to connect it. So I ran the VGA through the wall from the monitor back to the Mac Mini. And plugged in. So let's come over to my monitor. We're going to switch it to VGA. And nothing. So let me see. Not where I wanted. You guys will have to excuse me for not knowing nothing. Really? Alright, so I have the Mac Mini installed and running. The USB to VGA adapter actually needed a driver downloaded. Once I downloaded that driver on the Mac Mini, we were good to go. So what I can do, come over here and I can change the input on this one to HDMI, which then brings up my Apple. And if I come over here, and I really need to rearrange these monitors, I just haven't done it yet. I can change on it the input to VGA, push it back in place, and I have a dual monitor setup on the Mac Mini. So, keyboard, mouse, both work perfectly. And the way that works, let me switch them back. VGA on this one, and HDMI on this one. I told you about that little product that I actually bought, which is Synergy. So Synergy allows you over the network to use the same mouse and keyboard on whatever computers you have hooked up to it. And the way I have this set up is a Windows desktop to the left and the Mac Mini to the right. So that means when I switch over, I will move off the right screen into the Mac Mini. And then when I come back, I'm on the Windows screens. So that's the way I've been able to use two monitors for two different computers.